All content for update 1.62 or the August 2025 update has been confirmed. Of course, the trailer did drop in the last hour or so with the accompanying blog post, and of course through this we do get confirmation of all of the cars, events, extra menus and everything else that is coming with the update. Now, as always, the only things that will not be confirmed through that blog post is the likes of engine swaps, bug fixes, and of course the likes of physics changes and such. And of course, as always, I'll take you through all of the confirmed content as coming with update 1.62 tomorrow. But before we get into this video, I'm trying to get this channel to 70,000 subscribers. So if you want to stay up to date with everything Gran Turismo and motorsport gaming related, then feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. Anyway, let's get to it. The Gran Turismo 7 August update. 4 new cars, including the Corvette Vision Gran Turismo, join the lineup. The following is a list of contents included in update 1.62 for GT7 to be implemented on August 28th, 2025. And number 1 is 4 new cars, including a concept that offers a glimpse into the future of Corvette, set to join the roster. Now, of course, we already knew we were getting 4 brand new cars thanks to the silhouettes which were released last week. However, in terms of the cars, the first one that we get a look at is the Affila 1 2026, perhaps the most disappointing car of this update, for very good reason. You're probably looking at this thing and thinking, hold on a minute, we already have that exact car in game. And you would pretty much be right, except that is the concept version and this is the official production version set to be released in 2026 for, I believe, Japan and originally California, and of course then expanding from there. This seems to be the top of the range model for the Affila 1. Now, there's I think been a few changes since the concept, but as you can see, the model itself is almost exactly the same as the actual concept. Now, I do think it was very obvious we would eventually get the production Affila eventually, and well, here it is, but that doesn't make it any less disappointing. It's still an incredibly boring and dull EV type car. Yes, I kind of get it's a collaboration between Sony, who own PlayStation, and Honda, so they're going to want this car in the game. It's just unfortunate now we have pretty much 2 versions of the exact same car, one with a concept badge and one with the actual release year. Again, it's just incredibly disappointing. So whilst the Affila is definitely very disappointing considering it's pretty much a full duplicate of a car we already have, one for me that is even more disappointing is this. This is the Chevrolet Corvette CX Concept 2025. Of course, it was already pre-announced, and my biggest fear is that it would be fully electric, and that has been fully confirmed now. This is a fully electric Vision Gran Turismo car with the Corvette branding, and it feels like a massive shame for a brand like Corvette to actually go down this route with their street or road going version. So for me, this is the biggest disappointment of the bunch, because on paper the stats are absolutely incredible. You know, 2000 brake horsepower, it's got a fan downforce system, it screams insane performance, but unfortunately it's electric, so all of the soul of this car, and including those actual quite nice looks for a concept car, are completely taken away by that fact. This for me is the biggest disappointment of the update, even over the Affila, because I expect nothing from that and I know it's going to give me nothing back. But at least with the Corvette CX concept, there was some actual potential there. Thankfully, this does not transfer over to the other variant, which is the CXR. So of course that's going to lead me quite nicely into the CXR, which is of course the racing variant concept. I actually really like this thing. I know a lot of people will probably just say it's a Vision Gran Turismo car, it's, you know, whatever, a fake car, but again, it's a concept car, and don't get me wrong, it looks absolutely incredible and sounds amazing. The actual sound of this thing in the trailers that were shown off by Corvette was awesome, and I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of this thing. Now, there is a dead giveaway with this car. One of the big debates would be that if it actually has a category attached to it. One of the events added with this update is a WTC 900, which probably means it's made for this exact car, and I definitely think it will more than likely fit into maybe Group 2, more than likely Group 1. Of course, the big talking points with the CXR was the ridiculous power, the extra aggressive aero, and of course the fact that this thing is a pure endurance race car. So I do feel like it would sit very nicely in Group 1, and of course that event being added pretty much seems confirmation of that. So I think more than likely this is going to be a Group 1 race car, just like the Genesis that we saw, of course, added last year with the Grand Racer. Overall, I am pretty excited to get behind the wheel of this one. And of course, the final car confirmed as coming with this update is the Renault Aventime 3 litre V6 from 2002, pretty much confirming this incredibly weird and wacky car is now going to be in Gran Turismo 7. Of course, it does have pretty much a cult following across the world. It didn't sell very well. It was very advanced and ahead of its time. It was a really weird looking car. Even to this day, in a sea of really weird looking modern vehicles, this car from 2002 still very much stands out. Of course, made even more iconic in places like the UK thanks to that Top Gear episode featuring one with that huge Formula 1 rear wing on it, whilst it tried to set a faster lap than a Mitsubishi Evo. Again, it does seem that Polyphony on a bit of a French high this year. They are constantly adding these quirky French cars. We've had the Renault Kangoo, the Citroen BX, and of course now the Aventime. Now I do believe over in Japan, French cars like this do tend to have a cult following, so it really doesn't shock me actually seeing this in game, and hopefully it does have a few cool modifications and some good upgrade potential to make it absolutely ridiculous, because I certainly do want a racing minibus type vehicle here. So moving on from the cars then, number 2 is a new extra menu. This is extra menu number 47, Collection Japanese Racing Pioneers. As we can see here, we have the cult classics from Nissan, Toyota and Honda, and honestly it's great to see these cars actually get a bit of attention by Polyphony. I feel like these things are kind of the roots of Japanese sports cars, and they really never get a look in Gran Turismo 7, so it's nice to actually see them get a bit of attention, even if it is in the form of an extra menu. So number 3 then, new World Circuit events join the list. The following events will be added to World Circuits. Number 1 is the European Sunday Cup 400 at Circuit de Saint Croix B Reverse. Of course, this will be aimed at the Renault Aventime. Now the next one is the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600 at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, and again that one is going to be aimed at the Afeela 1 or the production version. I'm assuming it will sit around about 500 pp, just like the concept version. I don't think there's going to be much of a change there, and of course that will be aimed for the second event. Now in terms of the final event, as mentioned previous, this is the World Touring Car 900 at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, or Spa. Now in terms of this event, this one to me pretty much confirms that the CXR is a Group 1 race car. The main cars that are aimed at the 900 events are typically Group 2 Super GT machines and JGTC machines, as well as of course those cars from Group 1, which are very much able to enter, and I think that's what we're going to see here in the form of the CXR having this event aimed at it. And then finally, point number 4, Tokyo Bay will be added as a featured creation in Scapes, and of course this will just feature images around the Tokyo Bay area. And there we go, that is all of the content confirmed as coming to Gran Turismo 7 tomorrow with 1.62. Now of course there is a few things to mention when it comes to this content itself. There is no confirmation of the engine swaps, bug fixes or physics changes. Those will get released tomorrow inside of the actual patch notes, so I'll be there to cover all of that. Of course, we don't even have a Sophie AI track for this update, which is quite weird to actually see a lack of in 2025. Typically they've been pumping them out quite quickly, but there is none here. And of course, in terms of the actual content, other than the 900 event, it's actually quite light on it. However, there is something to note. August is basically the last month that none of the big Gran Turismo promotional stuff is out there. Of course, we have the GT World Series starting up again in Berlin in September. Then we also have an event in November and December, and considering it's getting to the latter half of the year where there is some incredible racing titles upcoming, I do wonder if Polyphony is sort of holding back to release a bigger update towards the end of the year. And of course, course do a whole big reveal like they did previous with the likes of Eiger Nordwand and such in July of 2024. So who really knows there? I didn't expect much from this update, and I think it's pretty much proven that to be very, very light on content. In terms of the cars, a couple of them I'm pretty excited for, the CXR and the Aventime, but the other two, honestly, I could just do without. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care, guys. Peace.